I'm going to do class in my shoes and my normal, like what I wore to ride my bike here. I know there's some people online with some foot issues, and I'm all like, wear your shoes. And sometimes I get an email and they're like, how would I do yoga in shoes? So we're going to test it out today and see how it goes wearing shoes. If you're barefoot, stay barefoot if you want, but shoes can give you a little extra support and just help with balance and help the arches of your feet. So if you're at home and you want to keep your shoes on and you feel comfortable doing it, please keep your shoes on. I have a skirt on, but there's shorts under here, I promise. So I'm trying to be appropriate too, okay? But I also want to say you can do yoga in street clothes. You can wear comfortable clothes. You don't have to have like yoga pants. You don't have to have like a yoga top, okay? You can wear normal clothes and move your body, all right? So with all of that, we'll start in a comfortable shape, either sitting or lying back. Gentle reminder, the most important part is that you feel comfortable and safe. So as you drop into your body, taking some time, coming into our bodies with curiosity and kindness. Taking a few moments to feel the stability of the ground underneath you. And then each one of us feeling our breath. And then using your breath to help you stay connected to your body. What does it feel like to take an inhale? What does it feel like to take an exhale? Maybe you take a moment to take your breath back into your awareness and travel through your body, doing a really meaningful check-in. And as we take the time to breathe and check in with ourselves, we're gathering information. So again, gathering information more from a place of curiosity, hopefully a little less judgment. And we'll take about 5 breaths. And coming back to breath and body, notice how you are feeling. And we're going to take a short gratitude practice. I was riding my bike here. Riding bikes downtown in Madison right now is a little crazy with all the construction, but there was a really nice person in a car behind me that let me cut in front of her so I could get here on time. And I was really grateful in that moment for her and her kindness. So maybe there's a random person that you don't even really know that did something for you today. Bring your mind to that situation. Maybe there's a random person that was really kind or nice or helpful yesterday or last week. Or maybe you were that random person that was really nice and kind to someone else. And just give yourself a moment to feel that kindness, that generosity in your body. Notice how that feels. And then let's all remind ourselves that we can come back to this feeling of generosity and kindness as a place of resource and strength throughout the day. You can come back to generosity and kindness anytime you need a little extra strength. We'll take about 5 breaths. And just give yourself 2 longer exhales. And then if you're sitting, let's come around onto our backs. And bend your knees. So you're going to make your way into your constructive rest pose. So that's just being on your back with your knees bent. Arms can come down by your side, palms face down. And then we're just going to take a moment just to feel your feet, the back of your pelvis, the back of your ribs, your shoulders, and your head. You might be someone who tends to store a lot of heaviness or tension around your chest into your upper ribs. So if that's something that sounds or feels familiar, give yourself a moment to pay attention and just try and take a couple exhales to soften through your face, your jaw, your throat, your chest. And then when you're ready with an exhale, you're going to push your belly button into the floor, which will tuck your tailbone, and you'll push into your feet and then just slowly roll up to a really low little bridge shape. So you're just going to peel your low back up, maybe peel up to your shoulder blades, and then you're going to vertebra by vertebra release that and roll your tailbone back out. We're going to do 2 more of those. So it's just a slow little roll up with strength into a bridge. Trying to activate a little more strength through your glutes into the back of your legs, into your hamstrings. And then after you've done about 3 of those, come back to your constructive rest pose. And just give yourself 2 breaths. And then bring your hands behind your head, elbows a little more up towards the ceiling. All right, so more muscular than skeletal. Take your belly button and feel like it's pulling into the floor, but try not to tuck your tailbone under. Okay, so you're trying to just feel like your belly button is being anchored into the floor, but you still have your neutral curve in your low back. And then with an exhale, just lift your head like a piece of paper, just a tiny bit. And then exhale, find your lower ribs, push them down towards the floor and lift your head and shoulders up. Look into your belly and inhale, go all the way back down. Couple more like that. So you're going to just lift your head a piece of paper. Make sure you still feel that neutral lumbar curve. Your ribs push down into the floor to lift your head and shoulders. And you release back to the floor. Couple more, maybe 2 or 3, can pick up the pace. But see if you can feel the connection from your lower ribs, upper abdominals, all the way up into your shoulders, neck, and head. Meaning the stronger we can get in the upper abdominals, the less we have to lift from the neck and head. The more readily we can just feel our nervous systems can just be like, okay, I'm lifting my head, that comes from my upper abdominals, the less we're going to use our neck and heads. And we'll do one more and then we'll rest. All right, let's put those two things together. So we're going to do 3 of these. We're going to do the first one really slow. First, you're going to roll up into bridge like we did. Push your belly button down, roll up into that bridge. Hold your bridge up. Exhale, do a little sit up with your bridge. So you're doing a bridge sit up. Then you're going to roll down out of bridge and then release your shoulders and head. 2 more similar to that on your own. Bridge, sit up, let the bridge go, release the shoulders and head. 1 more. And then after that one, just come on your backs and give yourself about 3 to 5 breaths and rest. So you take a short little breathing break. Again, you get to check in. How are you feeling? What do you need here? And we're going to draw your knees in and roll all the way over or up to standing. And we'll come all the way on up to stand. All right, we'll take a wide stride. So if you're in the room, you can look outside. It's pretty nice out there, in my opinion. It's nice not to see ice. Heels in, toes out. All right, here we go. 5 sumos. So going down and coming back up. Okay, chest up, chin up. And really working in your ankles, your knees, your hips. So you might go a little lower each time, challenging yourself with a little deeper sense of flexion and strength. Last one. And the next time you come up, pause. Okay, look down at your feet, see the balls of your feet. Little bend in your knees, little bend in your hips. You're just going to push into the balls of your feet and then let your heels naturally lift up. Then pull your heels back to come down nice and slow. 2 more. So the only way you get your heels up is to push down through the balls of your feet. And pull your heels long to come down. So you're working a little more through the arches, bottom of the feet. Last one. Great. When your heels come down, bend your knees, sumo. As low as is comfortable. Hold your sumo, push in the balls of your feet and let your heels float up. Pull your heels back to come down. Sumo, lift your heels. Lower your heels 1 more time. Push in the balls of the feet, lift the heels. Heels draw back to come down, push into your feet. Stand all the way on up. Great. Just direct your toes and your feet forward. So they're facing a little more forward, not out. And then just warm up by tipping at your hips and coming on up. Now really listen to your body, okay? I know we hear this a lot. Like, what does that mean? That means we slow down enough. And if the low back is really achy when we go over, we take that as information. If you tip over and you feel it really tight through your hamstrings, you pay attention to that. And we learn to recognize like, oh, how do I respond to that? If my low back is really tight, maybe that's a good place to stop. Okay, 1 more time. Tip and come on up. And then just take 3 breaths. Great, left leg's gonna turn in just a little bit, right leg's gonna turn out. Go about heel to heel. Okay, right knee's just gonna have a little bit of a bend. Okay, just a tiny bend. Right arm's going to reach right up towards the ceiling, and you're going to anchor down and stretch through that right side body. Long, long, long side body. Great. Exhale, tip at your hip. Bring your hand, arm down wherever it lands, maybe on your shin. Maybe it comes to the floor. You're you. You're going to tip over. So it's triangle pose. Spin your chest. Maybe take your left arm up to the ceiling. Check in. How does it feel to take 3 breaths? Exhale, feel the floor, ground earth. Inhale, come all the way on up. Take both arms up to the ceiling. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Left hand to your left hip. Or right hip, sorry. Let your left knee have a little bit of a bend. Reach up, stretch. I'll get my left and right probably more figured out tomorrow over the weekend. Bear with us. Tip on over, a little more of a triangle. Great, spin your chest. Right arm comes up to the ceiling. That's an option. You can keep your right hand on your hip. 3 breaths. Feel the ground, feel the earth. Come all the way back up. Arms come up to the ceiling. Heels in, toes out. Great, press into the balls of your feet to lift your heels. Great, take a couple breaths, arms up or at your hips, your choice. Great, heels come down. Sumo, bring your arms down and in. Exhale, stretch them out and up. 2 more. Down and in. Out and up. You got it. You can't do it wrong. Keep breathing. Okay, just move and breathe. Last one, arms come up. Great, press into the balls of your feet, lift your heels. Kind of like an X. Take 3 breaths. Heels come down, hands into your hips. Left leg rolls in, right leg rolls out. You're about heel to heel, little bend in your right knee. Right arm reaches back up. Anchor into that right foot to feel connection to the earth, but also lift up and stretch. There you go. From the hip crease, tip over back to that triangle. Right arm comes down. Maybe it comes to your shin, ankle, foot. Spin your chest a little bit. Left arm maybe comes up to the ceiling. 3 breaths. All right, right here with your exhale, start to bend your right knee and bring your right elbow onto your right thigh bone. More of, say, side angle. More challenging, float your right elbow off of your thigh bone. Use a little more of that core, less of the arm. 3 breaths. Great, come all the way on up, straighten your legs, arms up to the ceiling, high 5. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Little bend in that left knee. Great, tip over. Left hand somewhere on that left leg. Maybe the right arm's up, maybe the right arm's at your hip. 3 breaths. Next exhale, let your left shin come forward, elbow to the thigh bone, more a side angle. Great, maybe let your left elbow come up, feel that core stability. Exhale, come all the way back up, high 5. Both legs turn in, heels in, toes out. Push into the balls of your feet to lift your heels. So it's like that big X stretch, balance. Great, exhale, heels come down, hands to your hips. Step your feet together, arms hang, standing mountain meditation. You get a 5 breath breathing break. That just means come back in, find how you anchor, how you find grounding. Check in with your body, check in with your breath. Okay, and then turn to face the front of your mat. You're going to exhale, sweep your arms forward and up. Soft bend in your knees. Now you can keep your heels down, or if you want a little more challenge, push into the balls of the feet and lift your heels. 3 breaths. Bring your heels back to come down. Bring your arms right out in front of you. Now, your choice. You could keep your arms parallel, okay? Or you can bring your palms together. You're going to pull your arms forward and pull your spine back. So if there was a magnet out in front of you, it'd be pulling your arms and then pull the skull and your spine and your legs back. So that unification of opposites. Take 3 breaths here. Really pull. Soft bend in your knees. Now hinge at your hips. Keep your arms pulling forward. Take your spine really long and fold forward. Your arms are going to come out a little bit in front of your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need. Pause if it hurts your back. If it's pulling in your hamstrings, back of the legs, pause where you need to. Tuck your chin. Look down. Okay, now ground your hands and step back or forward, however you need to, downward facing dog. It's the first one we've done together, so take your time. Build your shape. Slow, strong, and steady. Now, feel the balls of your feet and lift your heels. So push in the balls of the feet, lift your heels up, bend your knees, and then really push back to get a little more length through your spine. Exhale, lower down to your tabletop. We're not going to be here very long. I know some of us have tender knees, so you can do this standing table as well or at a chair. 3 cat-cows. So just going to go at your own pace, rounding that low, middle, upper back, and then finding extension, low, middle, upper back. Can you work to feel those 3 parts of your spine working together? Feel your low back, ripple into your mid back, ripple into your upper back, neck, head. Now we're all moving at a different speed. When you're done with 3, you'll come back to table and we'll either meet back in a child's pose or a downward facing dog just for about 3 breaths. If you're going back to down dog, again, really press into the balls of your feet to lift your heels as high as you can comfortably. Bend your knees and push your hip creases back. And then with an exhale, we're all going to figure out how to walk our hands and feet together. So you do you. We come back up. Maybe you take a full stretch. Arms come down. Then we take a 5-breath breathing break. Come back, short, meaningful meditation. With an exhale, we're going to take another wide stride. Great, left leg's going to turn in just a little bit. Right leg's going to turn out. Take your right arm up to the ceiling. So many rights and lefts. All right, little bend in your knee, tip over, coming back to that triangle pose. So you're tipping and just going to let your arm hang where it's comfortable. No need to overstretch the back of the leg. Turn your chest a little bit. Maybe take your left arm up to the ceiling. Okay, now with your next exhale, let your shin come forward, right knee bends, elbow comes to the thigh bone, side angle. Now we're going to come up to warrior 2. So you're going to keep your legs right as they are and just lift up and reach your arms straight out over your legs. Soften again, that awareness of the face, the throat, the chest, 2 breaths. Left hand's going to come on that left thigh bone or left hamstring. Right arm's going to reach up. You're going to stretch through the right side. Okay, then you're going to come all the way back to that very first triangle. Straighten your right leg, right arm comes down, and take 3 breaths. Great, come all the way on up to make that kind of X shape. Bring your legs around, heels in, toes out, make an X. Great, press into the balls of the feet, lift your heels, balance here. Great, bring your heels back to come down. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Little bend in your left knee, tip on over, triangle on the left side. Paying attention. 3 breaths. You can always put your right hand on your hip if you need to. There you go. Exhale, let your left knee bend. Bring that left elbow to the left thigh bone. Right arm stays up or comes to your hip, your choice. Great, let your left elbow flow up so you get a little more into that side core area. Warrior 2, outstretch your arms. Soften through your shoulders, neck, face, jaw. Right hand comes down on the back of the leg. Left arm lifts up. Straighten that left leg. Tip back over like a triangle. Come all the way back up. Make your X. Heels in, toes out. Press in the balls of the feet. Lift your heels. Stretch up. Heels draw back to come down. Hands to your hips. Step your feet together. Let your arms hang. Come back. 5 breath breathing break. And starting at the front or back or middle of your mat. Exhale, sweep your arms out and up. Maybe press into the balls of your feet to lift your heels. Bring your heels back down. Bring your arms out in front. Parallel or interlace. Pull your arms forward. Pull your head and spine back. Tip at your hips. Soft bend in your knees. Long and strong as you fold over from your pelvis. Step on back. Build your downward facing dog. Look back at your feet. Can you press into the balls of the feet to lift your heels a little higher? Bend your knees to take your hip creases back a little more to get length in the spine. You have 2 or 3 breaths. You can always adjust and modify as you need. One more time, then you come down to your tabletop. We'll take little fork in the road. If you want something more challenging, float your knees off of the ground and come to floating table. You want to push into the floor, all of us, knees down or up. Push the floor away from you. Try and feel nice and wide and strong across your upper back. 3 breaths. Downward facing dog with your next exhale. All right, look at your thumbs. And you got to figure out, how am I going to get my hands and feet together? So kind of do that in your head and let your body follow. Woo. And come all the way on up. Give yourself a big high 5 stretch. And your arms come down. We get a 5 breath meditation break. So just come back. And you let your breath Help you stay embodied. All right, then press into the balls of your feet, lift your heels. All right, just bring your right heel down and pick up your left knee a little bit or a lot. You do you. That left foot's going to step all the way back into a long lunge. Pelvis facing forward. Try to get your ribs over your hips. So careful you're not leaning way back or pushing your chest really far forward. Okay, so midline, ears, shoulders, ribs, hips. Now just take your left thigh bone and push it back and see if you can feel a little bit of a connection in that left front hip. And try not to lose that. Maybe take your right shin forward a little bit. So front lunges are not easy. If they are for you, whew, you're lucky. Arms can come together, so palms can come together. Maybe your arms come up and just settle into the shape. All right, now push into that front leg with a lot of strength. Ooh, and step both feet together. Oh, I know, right? All right, push into the balls of your feet again, lift your heels. Bring your left heel down and pick up your right leg, balance. Okay, reminding yourself, right, shaking or wobbling is your body's way of finding itself in space. Okay. Right leg's gonna step back. Find your midline, ears stack over shoulders, shoulders over ribs and hips. So whole body connects to balance. Are you strong in your upper back? Do you have your upper corset cummerbund, lower corset cummerbund working together? Then press that right thigh bone back. Maybe take your left shin forward a little bit, take your arms up for the most challenge, and just give yourself a couple moments to settle. Woo, step both feet together. 3 breaths. Okay, press in the balls of your feet, lift your heels, lift. Right heel comes down, left leg lifts up. Step it back. Hands to your hips, build your high lunge. All right, option 1 is to stay right here, okay? Your back heel is lifted, okay? It doesn't have to be as high as mine. I have it really lifted, but you want it up a little bit so that that left hip isn't locked, all right? We want a little more of like an open kinetic chain back there, all right? Because we're gonna tip forward. So you could tip just like this, or you can do what we were doing earlier, taking your arms out in front and pulling your arms forward, pulling your spine back, and really working with that strength, right, of tipping over really slow. You're going to get really deep into this right hip. You're trying to push that butt cheek straight back. If you feel it burning, we're all in it together. And then, oh, come all the way back up. You're strong, you're strong, you're strong, you're strong. You need those deep, strong hip muscles. Woo. My heart rate's going super, super fast. Anyone else? Yeah, isn't that crazy? What? And step both feet together. Oh, I know. I wonder if your heart rate goes that fast swimming across the lake. I have to take a break. This is what happens, everyone, when you don't plan class. And then you're like, oh, I wonder what happens when we do this. All right, here we go. Lift your heels. Whew. Aren't you grateful we only have 2 legs? We'd be here all day and our hearts would be exploding. All right, right heel comes down, or left heel comes down. Pick up your right leg, balance. It's Friday. Remember those feelings of gratitude? Come back. Right leg steps back, find your lunge. Find your, right? Strength, mental strength, physical strength, good attitude. You pick, hands in your hips, maybe you take your arms up, right? Maybe your arms come out. You're gonna pull your arms forward, pull your spine back. Now this left butt cheek needs to go straight back. Oh, I never knew those muscles were there. Notice how you feel, notice your brain. I'm gonna be quiet. Go slow. You don't have to touch the floor. When you're ready, come all the way back up, strong in that left hip. Feel that strength. Step both feet together. Shake it out. Whew. 5 breaths. Give yourself a breathing break. Exhale when you're ready. Sweep your arms out and up. All right, all that work in that long spine. Take that spine long, long, long and fold over. Step back when you're ready. Downward facing dog. Keep your heels up, bend your knees, take your butt way back. Great, and then we're gonna lower down to your belly. So however you wanna come, tabletop or straight arm plank, lower down all the way onto your belly like you're at the bottom of a push-up. Bring your arms, hands a little bit lower towards your middle lower ribs. And let your chest get as close to the floor as you can. 3 breaths through your back. Now, as you're breathing, create length. Crown of the head going to the front of the mat. Pull your legs back. So long, like you could create length through your vertebrae. Keep that length. Inhale, lift your chest, look up, little baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. 4 more. Inhale, you lift up. Exhale, lower down. Now, pay attention, listen to your low back. Right? If it feels really tight, see if you can do a little more of that muscular feel of navel to spine, that scooping feeling. Tighten up that corset cummerbund. We don't want to have too much compression in the low back. A little bit, but not too much. Okay, next time your chest lifts, pause. Maybe press into the front of your pelvis and lift your legs. Maybe take your hands off of the ground and bring them back, palms up and reach. Exhale, lower everything down. Inhale, lift everything up. Okay, so there's lots of ways to modify here. Rest when you need to. We're going to do 3 more. But you can always rest, modify, adjust. That's why we're always checking in. Like, how am I feeling? What do I need? And then we're going to come down and rest. You can put your hands underneath your forehead. You could look to the left or the right. Oh, and just let the earth hold you up. And take a little bit of tummy time here. An opportunity to breathe into your back. Three exhales. All right, then we're going to take another fork in the road. We're going to bring our hands back by those lower ribs like you're at the bottom of a push-up. Option 1 is just pushing up to tabletop. Option 2 is pushing the floor earth away to plank pose. We're all different. You can come on your elbows if you have some wrist things going on, feel free to come onto your forearms, right? Same idea on your forearms. You're going to push up to either plank or elbow table. Hold your plank, hold your table, maybe take floating table. We're going to hang out for about 15 seconds. If you have that idea of like, why did I come today? What is she doing to me? That's a good way to think. Yeah. Lower down. 3 cat-cows again. Okay. So, hey, come back, find your tabletop, and then just move through your spine. Then after you've done your cat-cows, we're going to just come and find an easy sitting shape. Whatever that easy sitting shape is for you. You could sit crisscross applesauce. If you're at home, you can sit on a chair. You can bring your legs out in front of you. Okay, so anchoring down into your sit bones. So right, if you go forward and way back, those are your sit bones. So you want to feel anchored. And then your rib cage, find your rib cage. And you're just going to take your ribs right to left about 5 times, going at your own pace. So it's just gentle twisting, trying to get it a little more from your rib cage obliques, less from your neck and head. And then one more to each side. We'll coast back to the front, center. Just take your arms up when you have gone through your twist, stretch through your side body and your back. All right, then we have to come onto our back. So you could roll down vertebra by vertebra like this, or you could just be like, she is crazy. I'm not doing that. And I'm just going to go on my back, right? You can always think I'm crazy. It's a compliment. And then you're coming onto your back, bend your knees, take both legs up to the ceiling and just give yourself a little hamstring stretch through the back of the legs. You might go out and in a little bit with your legs. That might feel good for the inner thighs and groin. Yeah, I see people making little circles. As long as you're not popping your back up off the floor. So really try to keep your low back down. You might give yourself a full body stretch. You might draw your knees in. You might do some of our figure 4 stretches. So we always take the last couple minutes for self-care, for our own time to come back into our bodies to rest or stretch. So you might enjoy, we did a lot of strength in the hips, so the figure 4 stretch might feel really nice. We did quite a bit of work in the hamstrings, so taking your legs up to the ceiling might feel nice. You might just close your eyes for a full minute and just come back into your body breathing. So it's an opportunity to take silence and take care of yourself. And coming back to notice what you notice. And also coming back to that feeling of generosity and kindness. Can you come back and feel generosity and feel kindness in your body in relationship to your breathing? And with that, just starting to move your body a little bit, wiggling your fingers and your toes. If you're on your back, you might take another full body stretch or draw your knees into your chest to give your low back a little stretch. And then we'll all figure out how to come on up to sitting. Happy Friday, everyone. High fives for showing up, being part of our community, taking care of yourselves. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Have a great week. Thank you. Bye.